the suppression of the use of marijuana and of the forces lurking behind it are the most important jobs this department is now engaged in. In 1930, the records on marijuana in the Washington office of the Narcotics Division scarcely filled a small folder like this. Today, they fill cabinets.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Coloradians and everyone that's smart enough to listen from the outside.
One of the most amazing plants we've ever discovered.
The pot party, the trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another week of Stoned Appetit with your host, as always, it's me, Kip, and to my left, I got old CB. CB, how are you?
Coming off a really good weekend, so I can't complain. We had a fun event Saturday, segued that into a concert, so all in all, it was a great weekend.
Heck yeah. A little weather report for the people at home?
I mean, Friday was fucking gorgeous, and Saturday was nice too, although I heard that the cloud coverage affected Eve's weekend, so sorry to hear about that. But we're going to have these little highs and lows here, but overall, I think the weather's looking primo.
It was primo weather for no matter the outing or the gathering, whether you're doing yard work or getting everybody together for a little bowl in the back. But let's go ahead and take it over to Queen E. QE, how was your weekend? I hate to hear the gods didn't shine down upon you.
Listen, I just thought it'd be bright and shiny the whole weekend, so I was ready to be out in the sun. So just when there wasn't as much sun, I was a little bummed out, but it was still nice.
Did we go out to eat? Did we hang out with friends outside? What did we do?
I played some disc golf.
Ooh, you're a disc golfer.
That was my first time.
How'd you throw them?
Ooh, not great. Not great.
Were you thinking, had you ever been around it before or not?
No.
Okay, so were you thinking it might have been like a Frisbee?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be able to have a little bit more
and
everything.
There's
It's
some
not
form
as
to
casual of we're throwing it with some friends. But we have a lot of great courses around the area, and I love to see that Eve is getting out there and just seeing which outdoor activity will really be her personality for the summer.
I bet a disc golf instructor.
We know it's not hanging out with other podcasters and eating crawfish with friends. We know that's not going to be her personality.
And it's not getting a tennis lesson.
Yeah, it can't be tennis now. That was my goal, and it just got shit on. So
I'm really upset about the bowl you didn't make a showing at.
Oh.
She doesn't give a shit.
No,
Well, we have a great episode for us today. We'll recap the weekend that was, from the weather all the way through everything else that happened to go down. But before we dive into any of that, let's give a shout out to our friends over at Seed Money Consulting. If you've got a lot on your plate, no matter if it's spring, summer, tax season is done, just bring on a professional. Make life a little bit easier. Take off some of those hats. You don't have to always be the person. And that's the best part about working with someone like Seed Money Consulting. They're our financial advisors. They help us just like they help many small businesses in the community and across Colorado, just so they can focus on being their best entrepreneur, and they don't have to worry about being the accounting. They don't have to worry about doing payroll. They don't have to worry about being HR. That's all Eve's job. For us, but Seed Money will handle that for you. If you're looking for whether it's financial advice, CFO in a box, it does not matter. They are here to assist. So give yourself a little grace. Give yourself some free time to go throw the Frisbee, to get stood up by your tennis instructor. Whatever you want to free yourself up from, Seed Money Consulting is here to help. Reach out to them. They're based right out of Greenwood Village, just south of Denver. They work with a litany of businesses across the hospitality industries, from cannabis to culinary, 1099s to small business owners that have a fleet of trucks and employees. They can help you with your finances, not just during tax season, but all year round. So don't worry about wearing too many hats, too many aprons. Let the champs handle it the best they can. That's why we recommend Seed Money Consulting for any and all financial assistance. They're here for you no matter what. Give them a shout. Give it the old Google, Seed Money Consulting. Tell them Stoned Appetit sent you. Tell them you want to know more about that CFO in a box, which is that flat rate services that you can just pass it all off to them, and you can worry about what is most near and dear, and that's running your small business. Speaking of small businesses that have been able to flourish and grow, shout out to our friends over at Birdcall. Hatched right here in Denver, Colorado. We're still in the month of May, which means it's triple threat season for their limited time offer. But they have a litany of different menu items that are coming to the forefront. Whether you're trying to make an ultimate customizable sandwich on a Sunday or you're trying to get everybody in your office covered for lunch, they're here to help. They have locations strewn across Colorado, primarily peppered through the Front Range, and then they also have 3 locations in Arizona and Texas as well. We mentioned the triple threat. Every month they have a sandwich that helps spread not only awareness about fundraisers that are near and dear to their hearts, but also showcasing local chefs from the communities around the region. They've got something for us, our favorite. I love a good spicy sandwich, but anytime I can get a good excuse to go over to 5 Points, get the spicy chicken sandwich, hit it with that Korean kimchi slaw. Goodness gracious, CB, it's hard to beat. And it's going to be the sandwich of the summer. We love a good snack. Last week was BLTs. This week it's a fried chicken tomato sandwich. Get a little lettuce, get a little of that spicy Nashville hot. Woo boy! It's like a club loaded to the gills. Can't beat it with a stick. Speaking of beating it with a stick, let's get back into the studio for a kick-ass episode talking all things crawfish and find out why Eve really did not want to come join us this weekend. Since we last let off, I mean, we had a big one. You did Crawfish Boil into concert.
Yeah.
How was the Marcus King show?
It was great. The weird thing about it is like he only played for like maybe an hour and a half, and they shut it down at 10:30, which they said something about the Fillmore, which I don't know. It was fucking Saturday night. No way they're like have to stop at 10:30. So that was the only annoying.
Did you do any
part.
pregame or postgame along Colfax? Grab yourself a Slice Works or try to break into Sancho's and get yourself a bag?
No. So actually, Sancho's, it's about to reopen. Is that other, like, Yonder something? They've got a Yeti up there. But no, we actually swung over to Hudson Hill.
Oh, nice call.
Yeah. So we popped in there, caught a little bit of happy hour. So we had a couple glasses of wine on happy hour. And then we had some cocktails and cheese plates just for some little nibbles. Gotta say, Steph had their espresso martini.
Aces?
Aces. It was real damn good.
Well, Chris, I'm glad to hear that your weekend was pretty solid. Obviously, Colfax takes you back to the olden days of living over there on the other side. And a shout out to our early sponsors, the Live Nation days of promoting a bunch of screamo bands and being able to sneak into a couple good ones in between there. It's been a while since I've been to the Fillmore. How would you rank those venues? Obviously, you've clipped a couple different concerts in as many weeks. On last week's episode, you mentioned how you wished it was at the Mission. Still have those same regrets and thoughts? Or where do you put the Fillmore on today's pantheon of indoor music locations in Colorado?
I mean, it was fun being there because Pat and I were reminiscing on like the old times when we would go there for some New Year's shows and stuff. And, I mean, it was still fun, but again, like, I think if you're looking for, like, I love how high the ceilings are at the Mission, how, like, open it is and easy it is to get around. Fillmore, it's gotten a little bit better on the inside, but, I mean, obviously, if you have your choice to see a concert somewhere, you'd pick the Mission over the Fillmore any day of the week. And, not to mention, can we talk about some concert etiquette here?
What kind of etiquette are we talking here? Did you stand behind a tall motherfucker?
No, and luckily I'm pretty tall, so we're good there. Some dude was fucking ripping ass in front of us. Pat turned around and looked at me, and I was like, dude, I would tell you. Like, I'm not, like, I would let you know if I ripped ass on the floor, and it wasn't me, but this guy, like, we were like, who the fuck is this? And it was this younger guy in front of us, and, like, it smelled awful. Like, I mean, like, it was probably just the guy was loading up with creatine, probably. I don't know, but his farts were awful. And then all of a sudden...
What a random, like, not boiled eggs.
I don't know.
Chris is like, oh, he did a pre-workout before he came to the
something
concert.
like that. It just smells like gross turds. And anyways, finally, like, we were like, oh, it definitely was that guy because, 10 minutes after he left, the farts ceased to exist. But, I mean, you can't fart, like, on the floor like that. It's just not nice. Like...
I mean, I probably crop dusted a couple folks at a concert, but to be honest, I mean, the facilities are a little touch and go. Like, even if I have a bag, I'm still like, I'm not sure if I want to go in that bathroom, much less if I have to brown. I'm not sure I'm going to do it there. I would just leave for the concert.
I mean, it just wasn't fun there for a period of time.
Speaking of shitty weekends, Chris, let me tell you about mine. So, love having the in-laws in town, mainly because they're very helpful around the house. They're here for a minute, so they're helping us work in the backyard. Great weather for yard work. You know, you wanted a little bit of that cloud coverage that gives you a little bit of a reprieve. So in between yard work, we hosted a Crawfish Boil. I want to say thank you to everybody that came out and joined us for that. But so we kind of gave a quick ode, but on Sunday I had to put my dog of 14 years down. Oh my fucking God. It's the worst fucking feeling on this planet Earth. Like, we had to do this podcast today because we have sponsors to make sure that they're groovy, and we want to make sure we adhere to our contracts. But holy fuck, I have not wanted to do less in my life than yesterday around 2 o'clock till fucking today at 4 o'clock. Combo that with, there was a memorial for Chef Amos. I got to speak with his family. I saw Jess. Can't thank her enough for giving me the Colonel's chalice to match the Colonel's token. So I now have pretty much the whole Kentucky Colonel lineage, but that's the roughest thing ever. We used in-home euthanasia because middle of last week his body just gave out on him. And it sucked and it was sad and it stings a little bit less every day. But holy fuck, that was terrible. And then today, the Post and the Big Red F group, obviously Chef Amos used to work at Jack's way back when. There was a very large gathering today. I mean, hundreds of people from the hospitality industry descended upon Lohi to share their stories, laughs, and tears of Chef Amos. And shout out to Jess, shout out to Lauren and Sloan and to his family, because it was just heartbreaking, like absolutely heartbreaking fucking weekend. So start to finish, I did not crop dust anybody at a concert. The backyard smells horrific. I mean, God.
Fish were big.
They were big. And that was the highlight of the weekend, was that. And I'm going to take the shells and make a stock with them tonight, and then use the leftover tails plus a pack of Boudreaux and make a little etouffee tomorrow once the crawfish from Saturday settles, and then you're craving it again. Kind of do a twofer on the meal front. But holy shit, the backyard smells terrible.
Also, though, I got to give it to you, and I don't know how many people tried this, but the dumplings in the crawfish water, toward the end, those things slapped.
They packed a punch. They were a little bit spicy. They had a good boil to them, and we didn't know exactly what we were doing with that. We were just like, let's fuck around and find out. You just zap them, like maybe 90 seconds, maybe 3 minutes total. You get those floating things right out of the bowl, and then you pass them around. But we had a great turnout, 30, 40 personal friends. Some folks that we obviously sold some tickets to came out to join us, with all proceeds and profits going to Chef Amos's GoFundMe. We kept it pretty close on the margins just because crawfish is fucking expensive these days. I mean, so there's like field cut, where you can get like every size, all shapes. It's like the 2s and up of crawfish. And then for a better or more expensive price point, you can get the select, choice cuts. And that's what we had. They're the size of my Johnson rod.
They're like goddamn lobsters.
They were fucking huge. They looked like Augustines out there, man. Fucking pinchers, the heads the size of naval ships. It was a great time. Proper spice. A quality Cajun cook-off is what we had. So thanks again to Ryan and Jeremy for cooking for us. It was a fucking doozy. And I needed that little reprieve amongst a fucking weekend of chaos, nightmare, and tears.
I gotta say, that andouille sausage it surprised me, because
it's plumpers.
You try other brands andouille sausage out here and it just sucks. Like, it's not really good. But that one was quality, and even like Ryan and Jeremy, Louisiana folk, yeah.
Yeah, and that's an ode to our friends over at Pine Melon. We had them on the podcast last week, but we've been talking about them for 2+ weeks now about working with local businesses in the community, making sure that we lift one another up, especially when times get tough in the food space. Obviously, don't forget that you can use our promo code for free groceries. If you're listening to this, just trying to get to Payday Friday, use our promo code, have groceries delivered to your house. They work with local businesses here in Colorado. Everything from steak and, cured meats like sausages, sopressata, and things of that nature, all the way down to the onions, the potatoes, the mushrooms, and the lemons. We got them from our friends at Pine Melon, and it's really cool to be able to host these events and work with partners that we know are helping uplift farmers in the community. So, shout out to River Bear. We can't thank those crew enough, but really a shout out to Pine Melon, because the party wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for their great collabs they do with the community.
Oh, and that reminds me, the kind of farmers markets are kicking off. So Highland Street opened up this past weekend.
Yeah, and I think that's something we should talk a little more farmers markets in the coming weeks, especially for if you don't make it to the farmers market, Pine Melon. But if you can make it, we should do like a power ranking, because I feel like the Highlands farmers market is not as much farming as it is like small business bazaar. Because there are some proprietors that are like selling strictly produce breads, things of that nature. Whereas the city park is like, the boulders, those are almost exclusively veggies and a few less purveyors. But you see more people selling like hats and merchant items at the Highlands. So you can get a little bit of best of both worlds if you're trying to enjoy the full weekend, like a Saturday on South Pearl and a Saturday in City Park and a Sunday on South Pearl or Highlands. You can get a little bit of everything in terms of the demos as well as the vendors that are participating.
Ooh, I just had a good idea.
What is it, Chris? Give it to us.
Maybe we need to do another Stoned Appetit field trip out to the field and maybe check out like a Boulder farmer's market or a Longmont farmer's market.
Ooh, I like where your head's at. I'm definitely down. Once the summer kind of gets into full swing, our June is motherfucking chaos. Yeah. We have so many different things going on. Eve is going out of state for a few weeks to size up bears of Wyoming.
Eve, we can't wait to get a recap. That's going to be awesome.
You want to give everybody, you're also in charge of Munchie Mondays presented by Pine Melon. So we need to just shift this podcast over to Eve, because we've got great episodes and interviews coming later this week. We have Denise Mickelson on Thursday's episode. And next week we have AJ Scheffler from Little Arthur's Hoagies joining us to talk about the future of Arthur's. So it's going to be a doozy, but Eve's got a little bit on her docket as well. So tell us a little bit about what to expect for Munchie Mondays today, and then tell us about your most excited part about your adventures through national parks at the end of May.
And when do you leave?
Yes, and who are you going with? Give us all your emergency contact information. Do you have bear spray?
No, I don't.
You need to get some bear spray.
And don't leave food out.
Yeah, I don't.
Those are the two biggest tips we have for you.
Yeah, I don't even leave it in my car.
Yeah. Smart, because that's where they'll get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we doing for Munchie Mondays today, Eve?
I made a chorizo mac and cheese. So hopefully it works out.
If it sucks, who's to blame?
Well, you're pointing at Chris, but I actually think it'll be me.
What kind of chorizo are we using in there?
It was pork chorizo.
Okay. Shout out to our friends over at Lottie's Meats and Polidori. You can get both of those through Pine Melon.
Yep.
Okay, tell us about your trip. Where are you going? Why did you decide to go on the trip? What are your top 3 activities on this trip?
Well, I've never been to Yellowstone, and this is probably as close as I'm going to get. So I was like, I got to go. I'm going on the west side, so I'm going to see Old Faithful and just kind of be in that area, I think.
Yeah.
I still kind of have to like plan out some stuff, but like I'll be in that general vicinity.
Okay.
Doing like trails and seeing all the things. I'm still looking at stuff that says like what you should see at Yellowstone. Like I'm still combing through that.
Okay.
But yeah.
Bears.
But also
lots of bears.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Old Faithful and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It smells like shit over there. Sulfur,
Oh, sulfur. Yeah.
But it's cool. But that shit is packed. But also though, you got to go into the Teton.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, you got to do that. I'll send you a few hikes. They're fun in there.
Okay.
Yeah. It's cool.
Nobody gives a shit about the hikes. Austin,
That's pretty much all I'll be doing.
See?
Oh, okay, just kidding.
I'm not doing like just driving and like pulling over. Like I might do one that like circles the park or whatever the fuck, but
when you see a
I'm gonna
big
hike
ass
every day.
bus pull up right in front of you whenever you're parking your car to go on a hike, and you just see folks file out like that episode of SpongeBob where they're all like the little lemming fish that are like,
yeah.
Just know that I'm going to be laughing at you from the inside because it's fucking hysterical. You'll be out there in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of like this peaceful area, and then the next thing you know, 78 fuckers get off of these buses.
I think I'll be fine because again, I'm going to be in the woods and shit. Like I'm not doing your touristy.
No, yeah, but
there's
when
only
you drive
so many
up there,
roads.
Yeah,
and you have to stay on path. You can't like
I'm not
veer
going to
off.
go off.
Oh no, you see,
dude, a lot of RV folk.
There's no escaping it. It's so fucking. It's cool as shit because it's so vast and so like encompassing views. And then the next thing you know, it's like you're sharing it with 200 lemmings. And you're like, what the fuck? I thought I was just having a peaceful moment by a lake, and then nope.
Nope. There are campgrounds everywhere, but they are all full up. The funny thing is though, like, man, you're gonna think you're in a different country when you see those Tetons. Like it really does look
it's
like
so
out
cool.
of this world. It's
how much time should I allot for the Tetons?
You want to go like, I don't know, go around Jenny Lake area.
Yeah, so it's kind of like en route. If you come up through the southeast, like coming up towards it, so like you can, I guess, go the Jackson
like you go
route.
through, you can
you
connect
can go
to Yellowstone.
through Teton National Park and then go that way through Yellowstone. And so you'll drive by, and there's like this fun little like beach area on one side of the park where it's like locals hanging out and just like enjoying the vibe, where you can dock your personal like small boats that are out on the lake. It's really fucking cool. Like it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
You're going to have a blast. I want 10 different pictures. We're going to do a scavenger hunt. Maybe we send you with like a flat Stanley, but it's just a flat picture of Jerry, and you have to take pictures with Jerry all over the park. Flat Jerry.
And you got to go check out Jackson Hole. It's a cool little town.
Okay. I feel like I might have to go up there like twice this summer because I feel like there's so much.
How many
I feel
days
like,
are you going?
Like 5.
Oh, you got plenty of time.
But like 2 of those days are fucking driving in my mind. It's 12 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
So I feel like I'm
get out
losing
here
a lot of
early,
time.
girl, and then once you get on those back roads in Wyoming, you can do 85.
You can gallop, and at the same time, just watch out for wildlife. Again, the bears are everywhere. I remember we slept outside because we had the dog when we went, and you can't have them in national parks. We slept outside of the national park, and we had a bunch of tents, and there's Jerry just running around the lake with a fucking black bear. And then we're at one of those campsites where it kind of feels like the great outdoors, where like the trash cans are kind of overflowing. There's people at every little camping spot, like. And then you hear someone go, "There's a bear! There's a bear!" And then you're like, "Okay, everyone, we all load up into this van when our buddy was sleeping in the van, like a kind of like a camper van." And we just see this bear running through campsites, and people just like, it's like people doing the wave at a baseball game, but it's just like, get the fuck out of the way, here comes a black bear. And that's the best way to describe it. But you'll see all sorts of animals. It is just, and then obviously the sites are, it's so vast. It almost reminds you of like Switzerland, and it's just right there in our backyard. You're going to want to like go back a second time, and then on that drive home, you're going to be like, fuck this. I'm not coming back again this summer.
Where
let the dust settle.
Where are you staying?
Just a hotel near there.
Be careful.
Yeah. But do go to Jackson Hole. Do go to Jackson Hole and check it out.
Yeah, you'll have time. And you want to make the point to go through Jackson. It's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's hiking.
If you see the
Tetons,
Tetons, you'll go there because it's only like 3 miles away.
Yeah, and it's literally, there's great hiking around there, solid sandwiches, and anytime you wanted like groceries to make your own lunch or something, you're going to have to end up there unless you go to that little stationette, like
you don't want to do that either.
Grocery store where things are just overly expensive
I'm
before you get
bringing
in the
all my
park.
food. Yeah.
But it's awesome. I can't wait for the recap. But I guess that means we only have a few more episodes before you get eaten by a bear.
Yeah, stop that.
They will literally rip your face off.
A friend of ours, shout out to Will, once told me the difference between you'd rather get attacked by a tiger than a bear because a tiger will rip your face off. A bear will eat you asshole first, and you'll be alive until right there at the end.
Just take me at that point. Just
that's the point.
But we've all seen The Revenant, so you know what a bear can do.
Yeah, that movie was really mid as fuck. But again, they had to give
that bear attack was.
They
gnarly.
had to give Leo his award eventually, otherwise.
Yeah.
The movie was all in all just very unmemorable. That pretty much wraps up today's episode. We just pretty much wanted to bust Eve's balls. Y'all stay tuned because on Wednesday's podcast interview, we will give y'all a recap on how Munchie Monday, presented by Eve and Pine Melon, went this week. Are you nervous?
Eve,
Chris is a staunch critic.
Eve, are we under 25 minutes?
You're at 26, but that's okay.
Part of that's because of your microphone problems.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
Let's go check on this this mac and cheese. Until next week, don't forget, stay high, stay hungry.
Chorizo mac and cheese.
Yellowstone.
Be careful for bears.
Cheers.
You're obsessed.